So you do what you want with this, Joey. Do whatever you want. You know what? I don't like to make, and I don't try to make enemies, and I'm not going to consider you my enemy. You can consider me whatever you want. But I'm going to answer to this the first time I ever responded to anything like this, because you don't go off and say things about my father that are absolutely untrue. And once again, I'll say it and I'll leave you with this. You couldn't shine my father's shoes on his worst day.
I'm walking redemption.
Hey everyone, welcome to another Sit Down with Michael Franzese. Hope everybody is doing well. All is very good, very blessed on this end. As always, I give God all the praise, honor, glory, and thanksgiving for that. And my friends, this is something a little out of the ordinary for me. I never do this, and most of you that follow me know that I never do this, but I felt that this was very appropriate. And something happened this morning that troubled me. And how did I find out about it? Well, by all of my supporters, many of you who contacted me to let me know about this. And so I investigated it. I did a little research because of what you told me, and I want to respond to it. And people, you know this, especially my followers who are so supportive, tell me, Michael, don't ever respond to any of this nonsense. And I don't. This is social media. By getting on this platform, you open yourself up to all sorts of stuff. There's a lot of things that go on. A lot of people talk. A lot of it is not true. A lot of it is exaggerated. A lot of it is made up. I just let it go. It's not important. And I've been able to build this platform because of all of you and all of my supporters. But I appreciate those of you who contacted me this morning about this, because kind of draw the line when they come after my family and they say things that are just absolutely not true. So let me tell you what happened. Joey Merlino, who a couple of months ago, whatever it might have been, decided to join the YouTube platform. When I heard about it, I spent 2-3 minutes and welcomed him aboard the platform. And said something nice about it. I don't recall exactly what it was, but basically welcomed him aboard the platform. What's come to my attention today that a young man by the name of Justin sent a direct message, I believe, to Joey Merlino, and Joey took it upon himself to read it during his podcast recently. I think it was in the last day or so. And basically what this young man said was that he was my attorney, and that he thought it would be nice if Joey and I were to get together and he would come on my podcast for an interview. Now, let me make this clear. I haven't spoken to this young man for at least a year. I haven't communicated with him by text, email, social media, in any other way. He used to work for my wine company in Michigan, and that ended about 5 months ago. Nice young man, thought he was doing a nice thing. And look, people in that life understand. You try to get in somebody's good graces. Maybe, hey, Michael, you know what? I got in touch with Merlino. He wants to come on your platform, whatever. He thought he was doing a nice thing. He's not my attorney. Joey, for some reason, read this, thought it was appropriate to read this, and said that he was my attorney representing me. And in there, he said that it would be nice if he came onto my platform. Obviously, this young man was mistaken because he thought he was sending this to somebody with class. Obviously, that's not the case. Now, Joey took it upon himself to call me a rat, which is okay. I've heard all of that. I've explained there's nothing more to talk about that. Call me whatever you want in that regard. But then he went on to talk about my father. And what he said about my father is this. He said, for Sonny Franzese to associate with his son, because he said that I paid my father's bail, I picked him up when he came out of prison, that my father, Sonny Franzese, must be a rat also. Now, let me tell you this, Mr. Merlino, You couldn't shine my father's shoes on his worst day. My father was one of the most stand up guys ever in that life, and everybody knows it, even every one of your associates, and you know it also. So what you said was so totally out of line. And you know what? You would never in a million years say that to my father's face. Of course, we know that. I don't think you'd say it to my face. And if you want to, just let me know. I'm here, not going anywhere. Okay, but to call my father a rat, my father associated with me because maybe he knows more about my situation than you do. Maybe the Colombo brass, the people that mattered, know a little bit more about what I did or what I didn't do than you do. But you feel it appropriate just to shoot your mouth off and call people names. Like what you say about me, I could care less. You don't mean anything to me. But what you said about my father, who are you kidding? My father, again, was the most stand up guy in that life. Took 50 years on the chin and never opened his mouth about anything. And everybody knows that. So who are you to say something like that? Really? And let me tell you something. If my father had something to say to you, he wouldn't be saying it to a bunch of people on social media. He would say it directly to your face, as I would. Absolutely. So I don't know where you're coming from. And like I said, I don't know this young man, and he sent you a following DM. Why don't you read that? Read that. And let me tell you something also. Don't flatter yourself, my friend. I don't need you on social media. Maybe you haven't been paying attention to what's going on. I don't need you. I wished you luck when you came on board. I didn't realize you were a classless guy. I thought you were a guy with class. And let me ask you this. If you still are involved, and I have no idea, nor do I care, what are you doing on social media? You wouldn't see my father on social media. You wouldn't see me on social media if I was still part of that life. What are you doing on social media? Answer me that. Never do I ever respond to any of this stuff because obviously too there are other people, that immediately picked up on what you said this morning and Joey Merlino smacked me down and all of that. You're not smacking me down when you're talking on social media, Joey. You know that, and I know that. And let me tell you about Sammy Gravano. He's my friend, like it or not. I'm not interested in what he did before. I like Sammy now. I like his family, and I don't care who knows it or who disagrees with it. That's how I feel. Whatever happened before, none of my business. Didn't involve me, and that's it. I don't appreciate the fact that guys get on social media and they start talking about everybody, and other people just can't wait to bring other people down. They jump on it like it's oxygen. It's unbelievable. It really is. And you know what? It's quite pathetic because if you got nothing good to say about yourself, if you can't bring yourself up and make something out of this platform on your own merit, you probably even shouldn't be on here. If you got to use other people to make yourself important, shouldn't be on here. I don't come on here and talk about other people negatively because that doesn't prop me up. It doesn't make me feel good. Doesn't do anything for me. So let me just leave you with this, Joey. I'm here. I'm not going anywhere. Okay. I'm not impressed with you. I'm not interested in your talk. But let me tell you something. Before you make remarks about my father, know what you're talking about. Really. Because if you still are on the street, there's going to be people that are pretty much offended by that. Nobody can say a disparaging word about my father as far as him being a stand-up guy. And let me respond again. If my father was close to me afterwards, and he was, despite all the nonsense that's going on out there, then maybe he knows something that you and everybody else don't. Maybe the Colombo Brass, yeah, my former family, maybe they knew something about what I did or didn't do that you don't, and that the rest of the world don't. And I don't have to tell anybody. It's nobody's business what went on between me and my father and the brass in the Colombo family during that time. I'm going to leave it at that. So you do what you want with this, Joey. Do whatever you want. You know what? I don't like to make, and I don't try to make enemies, and I'm not going to consider you my enemy. You can consider me whatever you want, but I'm going to answer to this the first time I ever responded to anything like this, because you don't go off and say things about my father that are absolutely untrue. And once again, I'll say it and I'll leave it with this. I'll leave you with this. You couldn't shine my father's shoes on his worst day. Take care, everybody. And for all my supporters, I really want to thank you. So many people come to me, Michael, don't respond to any of this. And people, I don't. What I put up there is factual. And I tell anybody, come after me. Don't take excerpts out of little things and read it and try to blow it up. Don't try to make believe you're some kind of investigative reporter and all of a sudden you know anything. And I have no shame for anything that I've done. None whatsoever. It's way in my past. It's 25 years ago. The facts are what they are. You can try to twist them. You can try to do everything. And just I want to leave it with this. I'm going to be speaking to a guy by the name of Joseph Spinelli. Joseph Spinelli headed up the Crown Royal boxing undercover investigation, of which I was the target. Myself and Don King. There's been stuff said about that that's totally false, totally untrue. And the information to prove that is available to anybody if they wanted to look.
I did Joey Merlino's first interview. He's the rumored boss of the Philly Mafia.
Yeah, rumored jerk off. Wait, so let me tell you something about this guy. You know what's funny about Joey Merlino? I'm going to give you a perfect example about Joey Merlino. He comes on, he goes, rat, rat, and he goes like this to his left. What's wrong with this dude's face, first off? He talks so much shit about everybody. Rat this, rat that, rat this. You're on the fucking internet, okay? You're talking on internet. I'm part of organized crime. Ready? I'm going to go off on this fucking guy right now. You are a boss of Philly, right? You're breaking every code of La Cosa Nostra. The 5 families want you dead secretly in their brain. You made a mockery of them. You're on the internet talking. That's first off. You broke every code, okay? You got shot. Your friend got killed. You got your place blown up. You're a fucking herb. You're a victim. I feel bad for you. You're a fucking victim. You come on here, you talk bad about everybody. Sammy, this guy, that guy. You're a clown. Your fucking partner, who, that fat junkie, what's his name? Fucking Snuff with needles in his arm with fake Rolexes, okay? You're coming here talking shit, putting everybody on blast. You're 2 jerk-offs. Okay, I said it to this day. If I bump into you and say something to me, it is what it is. I'm not a guy that runs. You talk all this shit about everybody. He abuses you. Oh, Vlad, look good. This guy. Who are you? You're not the boss of Philly. You're Joey the dropout. When you go to fucking jail, you walk a dropout yard. You're not a fucking gangster no more. That's what it is. You're a clown, okay? You're a fucking clown. That's how I feel about it. And I hope you air exactly what I'm saying because he needs to hear this. The only thing I respect that he did is he outed John Jr., another fucking clown. And he put his 302s out there because John Jr.'s a fucking rat too, but he wants to sit here like he's not. Other than that, Joey Merlino, you're a jerk off. You're a clown. You're on YouTube. You're doing the same shit we're all fucking doing. You should be sitting with us. You're no better. Okay?
What's your beef with him specifically?
Oh, he came at all of us.
Came at you?
Everybody. He's coming at all the rats. Except this rat will punch your teeth in. Bet that. I bet dollars of donuts I'll fight him with one arm behind my back and I'll beat the shit out of him.
Well, I can tell you, I've interviewed a lot of mob guys, and Joey was by far the most defensive.
It's a jerk off.
It was almost like the joke in the comments was like,
Vlad.
Joey, tell me about your dad. Dad? Who's his dad guy? I don't know
his
any dad.
The drunk that they demoted him and they were going to kill him?
I'm just saying,
right.
In general, he didn't know anybody.
Right.
He doesn't know about the
Yeah, I
mob.
know. He's at the mob. He don't know John Rubio. He's on 1,000 hours of wiretaps with him, talking the most nonsense shit you ever hear. So, I love this guy who talks about people's girls and this stuff. I have no filter. I have nothing to protect. I'm known for this. Okay, I don't give a fuck. He is a jerk off. He's trying to come at us to get views. I understand that, but you're not gonna abuse me, my friends. I'm gonna make a mockery out of you. You're a fucking clown. You're a laughing stock of the fucking mafia. You're getting abused. Your place getting blown up. You're getting shot. Your friend's getting killed. Who are you? You're a fucking victim.
Well, his cheesesteak shop got blown up in Philly.
He's a fucking herb. You don't hear about this shit happening to my friends when we were in the street? Blown up, robbed. What are you?
Well, I can't
You're a
say
gangster
though.
or a victim?
Well, in his defense, though, he is one of the few mob guys that really has not cooperated.
Do we know that?
I've never heard of anything.
Do we know that? John Jr. didn't come out for years. Everybody know John Jr. He was around on the low. You don't even know.
Seems like he didn't cooperate.
You don't even know anymore.
There's
What
no.
he's doing right now on the internet's pretty much cooperating. I know Mikey knows them in New York are having a fucking heart attack over it. I know that for a fact. Everyone's having a heart attack. You look like a jerk off. You're coming on the internet and you're selling clothes. Skinny Joe, your Mafia nickname? That's your show? Your Mafia nickname? Really? Think about that. Skinny Joe Merlino, that's his Mafia mob boss nickname. That's his show. Selling shirts to your face. Come on, bro.
I mean, he's better to do legal business, though, isn't it?
And
As
you got that
opposed
little
to-
jerk off, the used car salesman with him. Come on. Man, got these guys talking about, you ain't no street guy. What the fuck you talking about us for? Why are you talking about us for? You're a used car salesman. You selling cars. You never busted a grape in a fruit fight. You talking about me? I got more violence in 1 month than you did in your whole life. You're going to talk about me? Who are you? You see me, you run for your life. I'm being real with you right now. I'm getting mad because I'm sick of these fake tough guys coming on here calling me out. I'll take both of yous. And I'll do it in a ring in front of everybody.
He is a little bit older than you.
So I'll bring his cousin or something. Bring a friend. I don't care. You're not going to. Sitting here trying to abuse everybody. You talk about Sammy. Sammy's 80 years old. He's 80 years old. You're going to talk about his shoes? Like, oh, the guy's an old man. Like, all right, I'm not old. You know, you keep bringing this up, so now I'm going to slaughter you. And that's what I did.
Well, you've had some dealings with Sammy the Bull.
Yeah, I like Sammy.
How did that go?
Good. We went the other night.
Yeah,
He's
I've
funny.
interviewed him twice.
Yeah, he's cool.
Yeah, cool guy.
Listen, he's cool. Listen, at the end of the day, he did what he did, but he's a part of Mafia history. You can't take that from him. This guy was a part of the biggest hit ever. You know what I mean? Orchestrated. You can't take things from this guy. Whatever he did, John Gotti Sr. is a gangster. I'll never take that from him, but he got a big fucking mouth. You're talking about fucking murders all over wiretap. You got everybody indicted. You were going to jail without Sammy. I'm not sticking up for him. I'm just being honest with you. John was going to jail regardless. He talked about 20 murders on wiretap. You're going to jail.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But I'm saying he did what he did, but this guy was a part of a lot of shit. You know what I'm saying? It's whole different levels of this shit. You know, Sammy's like, you know, A-list when it comes to this shit. You know, him and Mike Francis, you know, those are the top dogs. They're, you know.
Yeah. I mean, our first interview almost didn't happen because he came, it was me, him, and his granddaughter.
Right.
And then before the interview, he was like, all right, so what are you going to talk about? And I kind of went down some of the...
Right.
He's like, no, we can't talk about any of that. Can't talk about any of that. Can't. And I'm like, well, then we're not going to do the interview. No, I'm not going to pay you.
Right.
Like, fine, you're not going to, fine, fuck this interview. And I'm like, yeah, fuck this interview. And then his granddaughter was like, Grandpa, all the stuff he's asking about, you've already talked about on your podcast.
Right.
You talked about this. You talked about this.
Right.
You've talked about this. You talked about this. He's like, okay, fine. But I don't want to talk about, you know, killing my brother-in-law. And I can't talk about the Arizona thing because I got to deal with Discovery Channel. I'm like, fine, no problem. So we had a great interview.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
but
yeah.
it was like, it was
He's
an
cool,
interesting
you know?
moment. Where it was like,
He's cool. He
you
just,
got two guys who didn't want to back down.
But remember, you're dealing with a guy that's late in age, too.
Exactly.
You know, if you dealt with him probably 40 years ago, 30 years ago, it wouldn't be like that if you talk with him. You know, they get grumpy as they get older. He's a
Well,
grumpy
No,
old
I mean,
man
it was
now.
just, it was it was a business dispute. It
Yeah.
was like, I'm not going to pay you this if I can't ask the questions I want to ask.
Yeah.
It was really just that simple.
Yeah,
If you want to
100%.
walk out, then walk out.
I agree with you.
You know what I mean? I'll
Yeah.
pay you after the interview. I'm not going to pay you before. And if you don't want to
Right.
talk about anything, this is a waste of everyone's time.
Right.
But his granddaughter was like the voice of reason and came in and kind of
Right.
convinced him. And then we had really an epic interview. And, you know, and then I remember like, I think it was the second interview, Trump actually posted it on his social media.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I mean,
I
and
remember
Sammy's
that.
like
I said
commenting.
something about that. I
You
couldn't
said
believe
something
that.
about that. Yeah, it was actually my interview.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
I'm
crazy.
like, oh wow, former president's posting my footage. I'm
That's
not
crazy.
mad at this.
Well, he'll be the new one soon. So.
Yeah. Well, man. Appreciate you coming in, Gene.
Yes.
Like I said, we had our first interview, your first interview ever, but at the time, I literally had no information about you.
Right.
You know, we're doing John A.
It
Light.
came blindsided. Johnny just
Yeah,
grabbed
he
me on. I
blindsided
know.
me. I mean, not in a bad way,
You
but
know-
he was like, hey, I got this guy. He's a little younger. And I'm like, okay, let me kind of get the backstory. You told me a few things, but I didn't really, you know what I mean? Like every interview
It's
I
hard.
do,
You got to do your homework.
I do
know.
research. As you know,
Yeah.
if you notice, like your whole story has been laid out.
Right.
You know, your other interviews have been watched.
Right.
I was really very blind coming into this, so
Yeah.
it wasn't a real interview. But I'm glad that you came into your own. You started your own business because, you know, a lot of times when you got guys coming out of prison with felonies, they're in a very precarious situation.
Right.